Hello, and welcome to my actual kitchen in my home, where, like many of you, I have been spending a lot of time recently due to the situation we are all currently in. Now, I know we are all experiencing very challenging times right now, but if you can, I really encourage you to try and find that positive aspect of the situation we are all in. Together, well, separated, but together. For me, that positive aspect has been spending more time at home and spending more time with my immediate family in my home, which gives me more time to learn and develop a new skill, which I encourage you to do the same. I'm a little biased, but if I were to suggest a skill to work on perfecting while you are at home, I would say it's cooking. And I would say specifically, it's cooking with your kids. So grab those kids and get in the kitchen. Well, not yet actually. Check out this episode of the Red Clay Cook-Off featuring Jackie Sczcerba, a teacher at Marbrook Elementary, who was going to share her family's long-standing tradition recipe for Italian wedding soup, which boasts so much flavor. It is so delicious. Plus, there's something so comforting about a warm bowl of soup. And comfort is exactly what we need right now. So why wait anymore? Check out this episode and learn how to make this recipe in your home kitchen. Let's get cooking. Hey everyone, we're back on the set of the Red Clay Cook-Off, this time with a Red Clay employee and a somewhat family member of mine. Well, we found this out after starting this process that we share a common last name somewhere along one of the branches of the DiSabatino family tree. Small world, I know. I am excited to welcome Jackie Sczcerba, elementary school teacher at Marbrook, who is going to share her family's long-standing tradition for Italian wedding soup. Let's bring her out. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Family always hugs. So welcome to the
Thanks
show.
for having me.
Absolutely, I'm so happy to have you. And like I was just telling everyone, it was so ironic. The first time we met, we're talking about this recipe and where it came from and such, and we came back to the fact that we have this common family name that we share, DiSabatino.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit. Let's start with the DiSabatino branch.
Okay.
So what is your history? Your with the DiSabatino name?
So my grandmother, Angeline Jobby, her maiden name was Angeline DiSabatino.
Okay.
So she's the DiSabatino.
And your grandmother, was she originally born in Italy?
She was born in Santa Mara,
Okay.
in Italy. Yes. She
Okay.
came over when she was 12.
Okay.
So,
Any
yeah.
fun story with
Yeah.
her?
Well, there is a fun story. When she came over and she came to Ellis Island, she was about 12 years old, and as I guess they were going through the process there, somebody handed her an ice cream cone. She'd never had it before, and she actually, because it was hot, it was steaming,
Yeah.
and she actually was blowing on it because she thought it was hot.
Oh.
So she was blowing on her ice cream cone because she thought it was going to burn her tongue.
At 12.
Yes.
Well, how was that? How did that work out for her? Was everyone going, what?
I think so. I think so. Yes.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So 12 years old, she came
Yes.
here and she's been here ever since.
Yes.
And did she meet your grandfather here?
They met here. He was from Sicily.
Okay.
So yes, they met here.
God, that's so neat.
Yeah, it is cool.
And this is really a Sicilian Italian dish itself, what we're making today, Italian wedding soup.
Yeah.
I actually did a little bit of research about where Italian wedding soup came from. And besides the fact that a lot of people think the name Italian wedding comes from the fact that it might be served at weddings, traditionally Italian weddings, right? That's what many
Yes,
people
yes,
think. So
yeah.
it's not what it is. The soup actually gained its name after it began being traditionally derived from the phrase, and I'm trying to phrase this out correctly in my head, so bear with me if I butcher this, but minestra maritata, meaning married soup, which is a reference to the flavor made when you marry greens and meat, because while the flavors they both have are very different, when put together, a match made in heaven occurs, or a match made in it's about to happen in my belly. So
I agree.
so that was a neat little fact. I did a little
Yes,
research
I
before I
know.
came, because I never knew that.
Right.
So-
I know. I learned that today too.
Yeah, so a little marriage is happening today between greens and meat.
Yes.
So
this is my Aunt Vin and Uncle Phil's book, DiSabatino, Uncle Phil DiSabatino. He was my grandmother's, brother, and they owned an Italian restaurant off Philadelphia Pike long time ago, and we all, my mom made us all a copy of the actual book, and it's kind of interesting. You see a lot of handwritten stuff. A lot of the recipes are a palmful of this and a little bit of that kind of a thing. So you kind of figure some of the recipes that we've made, we've had to figure out along the way.
And I love the authenticity of it. It's just, you can see the little notes
yes,
when you
lots
sent me
of
a
notes,
couple
cool
of them.
Notes, right. I know I had to retype it for you because I was worried you weren't going to understand this.
Because in true Italian cooking, a lot of times you just add a little bit of this and a little bit of that, which makes it's fun. But with this recipe in particular, it's kind of hard to mess up.
It is. I can't say that we haven't messed it up. I've had to throw some cheesy bread away here and there. You know, if you forget to spray the pan or whatever, it really sticks. And
so we are going to start with the cheesy bread because that needs a little bit of time to cool before
you
really
want it to cool completely.
So I am going to let you teach me this minestrone maritata.
So cheesy bread has eggs, lots of cheese. When in doubt, more cheese. The more cheese, the better. It's got baking powder and flour. So, and then some parsley. So we always use like a palmful. So I'm going to crack, unless you want to.
I can crack eggs if you want.
6 eggs in.
Okay.
And then I will so this is the flour. I'm going to dump this in, and it's 6 tablespoons of flour. So I'm going to dump that in there. Look, I'm already getting it on me.
That's making a mess in the kitchen is our tradition.
Do, right?
I
gave her the hard part.
6 eggs in.
And then we have our baking powder, which is 6 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons, 2. It's hard to see, it's even hard to read. So that's in there.
And this helps really bring that bread to life, lather it up.
Yes. And then with the parsley, I usually do a palmful, and then we kind of just grind it in there.
Which is just so funny. This is so common in Italian cooking.
Yes,
you really rub the spices.
Yep,
I love it.
And then cheese, lots of cheese. We'll start with that, and we'll mix it up, and we'll look at that. We're ready to stir it.
I'm anxious to try this myself. But this, approximately 2 teaspoons of baking powder, right?
Yep, baking.
The 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour.
Yeah.
About a palmful or about a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons of, we have dried parsley, which she rubbed those spices together.
Yes.
Look at the color.
Palmful. All right, how's that?
That
looks pretty good.
Is that good?
Yeah, it looks good to me.
What we have here is we have a pan. It's already sprayed, so we can lay the cheesy bread mixture right on the pan.
And do not forget to spray it.
So hear that? Make sure you spray your pan. If you don't have spray, I've said before, you can always just put a little bit of olive oil on it. Maybe use a pastry brush or your hands or paper towel just to rub the olive oil in.
Yep, and then just kind of spread it out a little. Not too thin. It'll bake up a little bit. Yeah.
There you go. And you can always make extra, which we did.
Oh, you can never have enough. And
can never have
we'll eat it by the
cheesy
handful.
bread.
Like we'll make extra, and then we'll snack on it. And my dog likes it too.
It's healthy.
She loves
I
it.
mean, it's
she
cheese
sees me
and
pull the
eggs.
bag out, and
goes crazy. I love dogs. So we have the oven preheated at 350,
yep,
right?
350 for about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. We're going to bake this cheese bread.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
I have one that's ready already.
Yes.
Magic.
Look how pretty.
Yeah, we wanted to try one so we could tell you how good it is.
Yes.
So we made 2 pans, one for the soup and one for us to snack on because these little babies are absolutely divine. So this tray has been cooling for about an hour. How long? Is there like a time that
you want them to be cool enough, like, because we bag it afterwards, but you want it to be not too warm because it'll get mushy. Once they're cool, we throw them in a bag and then we'll just snack and keep, making everything else.
All right, so don't cut my finger off.
I will not cut your finger off. That would not be good. How is it? Good stuff?
Very good.
So you make it like the size of like a little, it almost looks like a regular crouton, but they're soft and spongy. I'll eat that one since I put my hand on it.
I'm just thinking.
Oh, good stuff. Oh yeah.
There's so much flavor happening right now in my mouth. You could even, I'm just thinking, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but I wonder if you were to toast them, after you cut them, almost like biscotti baked twice, I wonder if you were to bake them and make them like crunchy croutons.
Oh.
That would
be
be good.
That'll be another segment.
Stay tuned for that. No, but I was just thinking, I'm going to have one
of
these.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
While she continues to cut those,
I'm
going to give you a bowl if you want to fill that up.
Yes, I will. Yum.
I love Italian cheese, and I love eggs. I'm going to grab everything for the meatballs because we are also going to get them in the oven as well after we make them.
Beautiful.
Because they also cook at 350, which makes this pretty easy.
Yes, very easy.
So we have a pan lined with aluminum foil, and we do have a rack on top just for the fat to drain down from the meatballs. We're using, you said you usually use ground beef, right?
Yeah, I use ground beef. I mean, you can do the veal, you know.
Pork and beef blend.
Meatball mixture. I don't know, we all just kind of grew up doing ground beef.
Yeah.
I actually am getting into the turkey wave, so I'm gonna give it a try. We're gonna try it with ground turkey.
You seem really hesitant.
I am. I'm
like,
not gonna lie to you.
it.
How do you mess with perfection?
That's true.
That's the hard part.
And tradition.
Yes,
and tradition.
absolutely.
I hear you. But if you are trying to watch if maybe you don't want to eat beef, or maybe you want to lower your saturated fat, you could choose a leaner cut of beef. There's so many types of ground beef now, anywhere from like 70% lean to like 93.
Yep.
You could also do ground turkey. You could do ground chicken. The chicken probably would be a little, the texture might not be as good as the turkey.
Yeah.
But you could do it. You'll probably have to add more breadcrumbs.
Probably,
if you do the chicken.
and more cheese. Always more cheese.
Always more cheese.
Always
and
more
you can
cheese.
always mess with the ratio when you're making meatballs.
Yes.
So with the meatballs, do you need a bowl to crack the eggs in? Do you usually whisk the eggs first?
No, I drop them right in.
Okay, go for it.
So I drop them
So
in.
we've got about, how much ground beef is
So
that?
it's like three quarters.
3/4 of a pound?
Yeah.
I think it's about
Yeah, it's about right. 3/4 of a pound.
Okay.
Now, when my family makes it, we double everything. So you know.
I think you just touched on a really good thing. When you're busy and you're cooking with the family and you're doing this on Sunday, make extra cheese bread, make extra meatballs. You can always freeze the meatballs.
We did just that.
Because you have everything out, you've already made the mess.
Right.
You're already
not
having
going to
fun in
freeze
the
the bread
kitchen.
because you're just going to keep eating that.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's never going to last.
Yep. Nope. So I tend to use just regular dried parsley. So if you're into the whole
fresh stuff.
Yes, fresh stuff. You can cut it up like Jess is going to do, or you can use what I did and just do a palmful of dried and just drop it in.
And we have curly leaf parsley today. You can also use Italian flat leaf parsley.
Yep.
I personally like the Italian leaf. Is my
with
favorite.
that.
Yeah, I know I've said this a few times in the show, but if you ball it up, it makes chopping herbs so much easier.
Yes. Very
Give it a
nice.
fine chop, and you can
and
decide.
while she's doing that, I'm going to drop in a half a cup of
Nice
Parmesan cheese. And again, you can use the Lucatelli Romano, regular Parmesan. It's all about taste.
You could even blend. We talked about that.
Oh yeah,
you can do different
we've done that
types.
too because I've run out of Lucatelli Romano, so we've thrown regular in, or vice versa.
Just don't use a creamy cheese like mozzarella or anything,
No,
or provolone.
you can't.
It's got to be a dried Italian cheese.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to throw in Italian breadcrumbs, half a cup. We use Italian.
And the Italian are already pre-seasoned, so do keep that in mind if you think, I don't know how much you want me to add.
Yeah, just a palm. Yep, palmful is perfect.
About a palmful of parsley. Because if you use the Italian, it does already have a little bit of salt.
I'm good to mix this with my hands,
Go for
right?
it, girl. Now you get your hands dirty. You made me crack the eggs.
That's true. That's true.
I can get in there too with you. When we start rolling, I'm definitely getting in there.
Yep. And if you find that it's too wet, maybe you threw too many eggs in or whatever, then you just add more cheese. Always add more cheese.
Always add more cheese.
You can always add more breadcrumbs.
And we do have extra if we need it.
Oh, fabulous.
And that's why my grandmother, she always made the best meatballs. And we can never perfect her recipe. She always does this thing where she just smells.
Well,
I don't know if she ever ate it, but she smells it. Adds a little this, adds a little that.
Start making some meatballs.
So you see these little baby
Little,
meatballs?
very little.
Little tiny guys.
Yes.
And this is really important because when you're making the soup, you want the meatball to fit on your spoon.
Yes,
you don't want to be
it's very
like trying to get a giant meatball.
Or
cut
couple.
them.
Yeah. You don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
So you want to make them nice and small.
I'm gonna go in
like
and help
marble
you.
size, I guess.
And this is a fun thing for kids to do too.
Yes.
When they're in the kitchen.
My daughter and I we've been cooking this together since she could, stand practically.
We are going to take a quick break while we roll the rest of these meatballs, which we are going to bake in the same oven.
Yes.
That is also
350.
350.
Yep.
They're tiny, so you can cook them a little bit longer, but they only need about 12 minutes, 12 to 15. But you can keep them in there, depending on popping them with the cheese bread.
Yes.
You usually flip them. You don't really need to flip them
Well,
if they're on this.
No, if they're on that, you really don't need to. But
If they're on-
I'll throw them on a broiling pan, so I'll flip them.
Yeah. Perfect.
Just to let the grease drop down and
Awesome.
all that. But, yeah.
And when we come back from break, it will be time to prep the escarole, and also make a cheesy egg mixture. And the best part, test out what is soon going to be an amazingly delicious bowl of soup. So stay tuned.
Welcome to a little home kitchen nutrition trivia. Got a question for you. Which item do you think packs more vitamin D per serving? Do you think it's A, a glass of milk, which I would suggest going with low fat or fat free, or B, sardines? What's that? Did you say sardines? No. You said milk? No? Oh, you said both. That's correct. Per serving, both of these pack 15% of your daily value for vitamin D. They're also both packed with calcium, which together build strong bones. Really important nutrients for both adults and kids. Not sure they go so well together, but my family loves sardines. I mean, they go crazy over them. They're very nutritious options. Exhibit A. I guess I'm sticking with the milk. Back to the show.
Welcome back. It smells amazing in here. The meatballs are done. The cheesy bread is also done.
Yes.
The second batch,
Yes.
we did nibble on some of this during the break. We've replenished our stock. I'm gonna grab the meatballs really quick. Woo, glorious. Look at those babies.
Beautiful.
It's a lot of work to
It is
make
a
all
lot
those
of
little
work.
mini meatballs. Yeah,
It
tester.
is.
How is it?
Perfect.
Perfect? Mm-hmm. All right. So we have the meatballs here and the other batch of cheesy bread. You mentioned that in order to check when it's done,
Yes.
you have a little system. I'm gonna have you check.
You stick a toothpick in, like if you're baking
Yeah, any
a
kind of
cake or
baked good.
something. And they have those little long metal things that you stick in there, but stick a toothpick to make sure it's clean, and then you know it's done.
Now, what's the next step? You have the meatballs done.
So we'll throw the meatballs in the broth.
If you were to buy the chicken's stock already made, it really does save you a lot of time. You could also, if you're feeling adventurous, you could make your own chicken stock
Yes.
from scratch by boiling a whole chicken or chicken parts, starting with some onions,
Celery, carrots.
the aromatics.
Yes.
And we did add some of them to this soup, but traditionally you don't.
I don't. Just want to grab them with my hands. and
Go
put 'em
ahead,
in.
you
All
can
right.
if you want.
Oh yeah, much easier.
And it is so, I mean, cooking, again, it is good to go in with your hands and just have fun with it.
Yes.
And I think that's what I love about cooking, but particularly about like Italian cooking. It's just really just about being there with the family. You blare the
Yes.
music,
Yep.
you talk, and
Yes.
just, I mean, with all cooking, you really do that, but
Catching up.
Relax.
My daughter and I love to cook. We cook all the time, and it's when we catch up and you know.
you just
talk
get to
about life
spend
and
quality
everything.
time together. I mean, we sit down
Right.
and watch TV, you're just
Yes.
watching TV, not talking, but in
Right.
the kitchen,
And then, do you want me to drop the chicken in?
absolutely.
So what we did was, and what I do is just easier to get a rotisserie chicken, and just break it up and you drop it in.
Yeah.
You can, like you mentioned, we could make our own.
And rotisserie chickens really are a great, quick, easy weeknight meal. If you're
Yep.
coming home late from work, you grab a
Yes.
pre-made bag of salad and a rotisserie chicken.
Yep.
And
I have 2 in my fridge right now.
Yeah,
my
I
son
actually-
makes sandwiches with them all the time and wraps, and it's great.
and you can sometimes you make this without the chicken, which is also
Yep.
fine, right?
Yep.
So if you wanted to make it without the chicken, you could do that in just the meatballs and the other star ingredient we have here, which the escarole. So do you
we
always use escarole?
Yes, always use escarole. It's the
Grab you.
staple of it. And we use about 3 or 4 heads of it, but you have to clean it really good.
You do.
Because it's very gritty, very sandy, you'll notice. We usually will blanch it. We'll blanch it in broth, and you'll
Making
still
your
see some grit, so you try to get as much of the grit out as you can.
So that's why you blanch it in the broth
Yes,
separate.
Yes,
And
it
also-
has to be separate. Yeah,
and you
plus
prefer-
it'll put a lot of iron in it, and you don't want that, like as much iron into the soup. It'll totally change the flavor of it.
So if you did it in water, you would achieve the aspect of cleaning it and everything, but you
Yes.
wouldn't necessarily.
Yeah, well, you still want to clean it even before the water.
Absolutely,
too.
yes. And then when you get it, it looks like, I mean, you don't see it here today because we've already cleaned it and taken it apart, but it really looks like a head of lettuce.
Yes.
And like all leafy greens, escarole is a very nutrient-dense food, meaning it packs a big old punch of nutrients for a
Yes.
small amount of calories. It's actually a bitter green,
Yes.
commonly used in, as we were talking earlier, Sicilian cooking, and it is related to the chicory family. Good source of folate, fiber, iron, antioxidants, vitamins A, C, K, and again, like a lot of leafy greens, it's also a good source
Yes.
of calcium,
It's
a
great.
non-dairy source of calcium.
Yes.
So
I will tell you, I did just find the bagged escarole already cleaned and cut and ready to go.
time-saving tips.
I ended up using 3 bags, and I probably could have used 4.
Yeah.
It does boil down, so it will shrink. So you think you're putting a lot in, and it will shrink down.
It will. And it's if you've never tried this Sicilian veggie before, you can eat it raw in salads. You can also do it cooked in soups.
Right.
So I definitely encourage you to try it out, but it is a little hard to find sometimes.
Yes.
If you don't like the escarole, you could always do different greens. This would
Yes.
go off the tradition.
Right.
But you could do spinach. You could do
Yes.
endive. My
Right.
favorite's broccoli rabe. I don't know if that would really
Oh,
work
I love
so well
broccoli
in here,
rabe.
but I love broccoli rabe.
Love broccoli rabe.
Swiss chard, any leafy green.
Yes. Yes. What my kids and I I do at home a lot of times for a quick meal. We'll get a can of chicken broth, boil it up. I'll get spinach. I'll drop spinach in there. I'll throw some noodles and stir up. You'll see we'll stir up the egg. Throw that in there with some cheese and a dinner. And then my kids love it.
Yeah, and
So
greens.
quick and easy. Yep.
Greens. Delicious green
Yes.
goodness with some meatballs and some lots of cheese.
Yes. Yeah, can I test you and ask you what that Italian name was again? What does it mean? I put you on the spot. I know. Totally put you on the spot, didn't I? What kind of a friend, family member am I? Right?
It'll come to me.
It'll come to you. I know it will be. It'll be coming like real quick.
So what it is the marriage. It's a
Yes,
marriage.
it's the marriage, right.
Between the meats and the greens.
Yes. It's
and it is
minestra
called maritata.
Maritata. There we go. Look at that.
Married soup.
You are so good.
I know, I'm telling you. When you got it, you got it.
Those Italian genes are just
We're coming alive. So through the magic of television, we cut the rest of that escarole, which it looked like a lot of escarole, right? This whole basket.
Yes, it
was
boils
full.
down though. It does boil down.
So we did cut all this.
Yep.
And it has been blanching for what?
Just a few minutes.
Just a few minutes.
Bring it to a boil, let it cook
it
for a few
wilts.
minutes, and then throw it in.
Stuff.
You ready?
So you're gonna you can either strain this over.
Yeah, I'll use a colander a lot of times and just dump it in and let it strain while I'm getting other stuff done. But for time's sake, we'll just let the water run out. You don't want to add too much water.
Okay, to the soup.
Yeah.
And it, like we said earlier, you could always blanch this in water. I think blanching it in chicken broth. Another reason you do it is you think it flavors
that's right.
the greens.
It is in chicken broth.
No, but you would think it flavors the greens a little bit.
Yes, it flavors the greens, and then too, because you're always gonna have a little bit of fluid in it, and it doesn't take away. Like I was thinking, the water was in it, was take a little bit away, so we can not strain as much.
And also get all the grit off. Which another thing I wanted to mention earlier that I forgot is, especially if you grow your own greens, which a lot of greens like Swiss chard and kale, spinach. I've never tried escarole, but a lot of greens grow so well. So if you have a small backyard garden in the spring and you grow your own greens, it's a lot of fun, and the kids can get involved with that. But you really do, when you have your own homemade stuff, you really need to take some time to wash it. So if anyone is deciding to grow their own greens, I would invest in a salad spinner just because it gets, you wash it I always soak it and then I drain that off and then run it through my salad spinner.
Keep rinsing it, yes.
But escarole is a green that you probably really want to do that unless you like that gritty texture. Not so much.
Not so much.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna start with this cheesy egg mixture. How about you do that? I'm gonna transfer the escarole.
Okay. So at the very end of the soup, what we do is we just get a little egg mixture with some cheese in it, and I'll mix it up. I'll show you. All right. So we're bringing the soup to a boil. Right.
So like I was like totally withholding this from you because I
was like,
wait,
you weren't.
I have a slotted spoon.
All right. So I put you on the spot earlier, and
you
now
did.
you just got even.
Back
okay.
at ya.
All right, that works.
I was like, wait a minute.
I'll remember that.
It's a lot easier.
I will remember. No, so we're gonna throw some eggs in, and then a little more cheese. Again, can never have too much cheese. And then just kind of.
And we have this cheese too. Don't forget. Don't be withholding.
Right.
The lacatelli. This is my favorite cheese. It is very expensive per pound.
Yes, it's mine too.
But it's worth it. Like if you're gonna splurge on a good Italian cheese, go in there. If you're gonna splurge on a good Italian cheese, make it lacatelli.
Yeah. So you're just gonna kind of whisk it a little bit, like you're making scrambled eggs. A little bit of cheese in there.
I'm gonna move this out of our way. I'm coming right behind you. Don't back up. I don't feel like wearing chicken broth today.
Nope. So what you do is we'll bring it to a boil. Everything's in there now, cooking so wonderfully.
And the flavors are all just really pooling together.
That marriage thing. Yes.
Don't ask me again.
I promise.
I'm gonna practice that.
All right, so we have the mixture. Do we want to wait for a little? Well, we could probably stick it in now and just let it cook a little.
Well, and then
so what I do is I usually use the fork that I put it in because you kind of want to mix it up real good, and as you're putting it in, you're kind of stirring it up because you want it to kind of like break up a little bit. See that? Adds a different look to it, and it does make it a little thicker. But adds a little more cheese to it.
It looks so good.
Yes.
Little tiny bits and pieces, and I'm sure the flavor.
Yes. See that? And then I use a fork because it just makes it not so clumpy. And I've actually cracked the eggs in before and done it, and that's not, I ended up with a big full egg, poached egg came out. I'm like, oh wait, that didn't work. Guess I didn't stir that well.
So it's important to make the slurry.
Yeah, you kind of want to do it ahead of time and use a fork.
Do not drop a whole egg in there unless you're looking for.
No.
A
I'll
soft
do
boiled
that
egg
when
in
I
your
make
soup.
like soup with the spinach and stuff like that. But
Yeah. So
let's put the lid.
let that cook for a minute. Something else I did earlier with the leftover parsley that we added to the meatballs, if you have too many herbs, I mean, don't throw them away, because this is speaking of nutrients, there's a lot of vitamins and minerals in fresh herbs.
So I like to bring it, usually do a boil, let it cook for a few minutes. We just want to make sure this egg is cooked. We don't want, it to not be.
And you know what, something else I actually noticed with traditional Italian wedding soup, you often have a grain of some sort, whether it's, I forget the different types of, little tiny baby pastas. Pastini.
Pastina.
Or pastina.
I like Incini Pepe.
Okay.
That's a family favorite. So we'll use that, or just the pastina. Pastinas are so little.
Yeah.
And I always overboil it and it turns into mush. So I like the Incini Pepe better.
So if you do that, do you cook that in a separate pot first
and
then
then dump it in?
And then add it.
Yes.
Another thing too, I know a lot of times if I add pasta to a soup and I know I'm going to save some, I'll always add the pasta like as we're eating it instead of adding it to the pot, because if you save the leftovers, the pasta breaks up and just absorbs all that water and really breaks down. So if you know you're going to have some leftover and you want to add the noodles, pasta, you could always have it on the side and just kind of add it in.
Yeah.
Unless you know you're going to eat the whole pot, which we are probably going to do today.
Absolutely.
So,
So what do you think?
I think we're ready to try.
All right. Okay.
Give it a whirl.
Yes.
We got this ginormous ladle here.
Oh my God, it's huge. Just huge.
It looks smaller on television. It's actually a lot
Hold
bigger.
this bowl up here.
You got
A lot
it.
of green. Love it.
And it almost looks like, it is essentially, you could eat it like a salad, like it's lettuce, but it really does almost look like lettuce is in there.
Yes.
We're eating a delicious bowl of
gosh,
greens.
this looks great.
I know.
I'm gonna get some more juice in there.
Is it rude if I don't wait for you to dip out your bowl?
No. Go ahead.
I'll wait for you. I'm totally kidding. Kind of.
Throw them on.
Oh, that's
the
right.
most important part of this.
We've been
whole
nibbling on
reason
these.
We did the cheesy bread.
We had the extra down here, so we just kept piling up.
Yes.
Some other people would walk by and just grab some on their way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good? My ratio?
Yeah. You'll end up adding more as you go. just so you know, you will.
And do not add these to the soup
No.
itself, because they'll get soggy.
Oh, very good.
Topping.
Yes.
I'm going to throw some fresh parsley just because I love the fresh.
Yes. I'm going to add some
shaved
cheese. Definitely, can never go. And bread.
And soup, it's so comforting. So, all right, here we go.
You ready?
I got to get a little bit of meat.
Yes. That's why the little meatballs are good.
Yes, I'm gonna
It's a lot. It's
have
a mouthful.
soup. I know it is.
It's a
Okay,
mouthful.
I'm going in.
You ready? Go for it.
I got 2 meatballs on there. Get that one
Go
little
for
guy
it.
down.
I'm trying to get some. Look at that. Beautiful.
I need
there.
a bigger spoon.
And then we have to check our teeth.
How did I thought?
It's hot. I didn't need that skin on my tongue. It's okay. So I went with a little bite, She has like no skin left on her teeth, in her mouth.
I'm more of a go big or go home kind of girl.
I gotta tell you a quick funny story. So my brother-in-law, Bill, he's absolutely a trip. So he had dinner with my parents for the first time when they were dating. My sister Judy and he were dating, and she made stuffed shells.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting there with my parents for the first time, and he took a bite, and like it was scalding hot, and like all the skin was peeling off, and he was starting to sweat, and his eyes were tearing, and he wanted to spit it out, but he couldn't. It was his first meal with my parents, and he said it was the most awful thing. He's still traumatized by it. Still traumatized. So funny.
Those are the moments you remember. I was laughing and I inhaled a little bit of broth, which is why I was.
Lovely.
But I survived to tell about it, and I will tell this
see?
story, which is funny. But but you're good for him for
Yes.
powering through it.
Right.
This soup was amazing, and I'm going to finish the rest of it. I'm going to go smaller bites next time, but it definitely brought me back to the days of sitting around a table with friends and family and just enjoying an amazing dish.
Yep. And a good loaf of bread.
A good loaf of bread would be good with
Yes.
this. Which really, again, is what this show is all about. You can never have too many family members in the kitchen or around a dinner table enjoying some delicious food. And remember, you're not cooking in style unless you're cooking family style. All right, let's eat a little bit more.
All right.
We're going a little bit smaller on the bite.
Smaller.
Did you enjoy this episode? Make sure to check out past episodes by going to the EdTV website, watchedtvnow.com, or visit YouTube and search for The Right Plate Cook-Off Family Style. Your taste buds will be glad you did.